Hello everybody, this is Shannon with Beads and Babble, back with a tutorial, and this one has special meaning, and it is dedicated to my granddaughter Bailee, who just turned 7 on the 2nd of March. She made a special request of Nana to make her pink sparkly earrings, dress-up earrings, mind you. They do love they get all gussied up into their play dresses and jewelry. So she is 7, so I wanted to keep the earrings simple, lightweight, because her earlobes are delicate. So I went with a Ceylon cord and some crystals and some hollow core metal beads to give it a good drape and flow, but also to keep it light for her earlobes. So what I'm going to be using today is a pink Ceylon cord, but you can pick whatever color you want. This is the regular Ceylon cord. Also, you'll need a couple of cord-in crimps, a variety of crystals, beads, metal beads, whatever you want, as long as it will fit on the cord, you can use it. I'm specifically going for pink and sparkly. You'll also need a pair of ear wires. I show you how to make these in a tutorial already, so you can make yourself a quick pair of ear wires. These are made out of 20 gauge argentium sterling silver, and I made these earlier. As you can see, the little clippings in there, because I'm going to add those to my salvage jar for making other things. And then you'll need a pair of bent nose pliers, a thread burner. If you don't have a thread burner, you could use a lighter, but a thread burner is a little bit more safe. A sharp pair of shears, knotting pliers tweezers if you have them. You don't necessarily need them, but for getting up close to the beads, they sure come in handy. And then, of course, your variety of beads here. And what we're going to do is we're just going to make the pair of this earring here that I made earlier. It's Swarovski crystals or Percosia crystals and hollow core metal beads and a couple of Toho Japanese seed beads here. And then you have the cord-in crimp, and then it's directly attached to the ear wire. Very simple, pretty dangly, lightweight earring. So we're going to go ahead and make the matching one to this set. So first you're going to want to cut 8 inches of Ceylon cord. You're going to cut 3 8-inch pieces. And measure the first piece and then just match it to the others that way. Or you can just use your measuring device. I like my mat here. It's wonderful because it has the 12-inch ruler at the bottom of it. It comes in handy. I'm going to set those to the side. I'm going to take one of the cords and I'm going to string this center one here, or actually the longest dangle of the earring, and I'm going to thread on this Percosia heart crystal and just take it down to the middle of the cord ends, and then I'm going to slide on this round bead through both of the cord ends this time. It'll kind of help close off this loop. Since this crystal is top drilled rather than center drilled, this way it'll hang nice. And then I'm going to do the same thing with this round silver disc metal bead. Now this is where I'm going to tie a knot to keep the metal beads down to the bottom. Go through. It's going to be fiddly for a second here. Then I'm going to bring in my knotting pliers, go through that loop. I'll show you closer up here once I get it. So when you're using the knotting pliers, you're going through the overhand knot and you're clamping them down against the beads there. And then you're going to pull the tails of the cord up tight against the tweezers, and then you can let them go at this point, the threads, and then you're going to use the tweezers to push the knot down. And then you can open up also the cords and give them a good tug, and that'll set the knot against the beads. So this is what you'll have. So, all right, we're going to set that one aside. That's one strand done. These are super easy earrings to do, and also for children or teens to make. Very friendly, and so that's an idea if you have children of that age and you want to do a fun party activity. These are great. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to tie an overhand knot at the end of this cord. I cut these cords extra long so we would have playroom, because it's nothing worse than having a cord that's so short that it's hard to work with. Just tie an overhand knot at the end. This is just going to stop the beads. All right, and then we're going to do the second longest cord here. I'm going to bring out those beads. We can string them. So I'm going to thread on the little round hollow core bead, the disc bead, and the round Percosia crystal, and then the other disc bead. Through the cord, and then I'm doing an overhand knot again. Same process, same technique. And then I'm going to go in to the loop, grab the base of the cord here. And this is why having a cord a little bit longer, oops, trying to sneak out the bottom there, is nice, because, get it right here. I'm out of practice. I haven't made a video in a little while. I've ran back-to-back sales, so I've been really busy, and then we had tornado warnings on Friday, which made me a little concerned. I haven't had to deal with that before. So that kind of got me a little bit, and the winds were 60 to 70 miles per hour. It was crazy. So now we have our beads set with the 2 overhand knots on the second cord, and then I'm going to set that aside. We're going to grab the third cord, tie another overhand knot, again, just to use it as the bead stopper there, before we start threading on our third and final cord here. I'm going to grab those beads real quick. Alrighty, and then I'm going to thread on the round, and these are silver plated hollow core beads, so they have a little bit of weight to them, but not so much that it's going to, be a strain on the earlobe, especially for a young child, a younger child, or a teen. Then I'm going to string on this Toho Japanese seed bead, and then this vintage crystal here. And another tip, if you do any kind of thrift shopping, look for old jewelry, that crystal jewelry, and repurpose it. I have a whole drawer of crystals from vintage jewelry that I took apart that was broken, and you can usually pick it up really reasonable, and a lot of times the beads and stuff are all in really good shape still. They might be a little dirty, but you could throw them in an ultrasonic cleaner and clean them right up. Okay, I'm going to do the same. I'm going through the loop at the bottom there, through the loop with the tweezers against the base of the top bead, so I can bring that knot down close where it's snug against the tweezers, and I'll release, and then I'll come up to the top of the knot and push down with the tweezers and pull up on the cord. It just secures the beads on the strand with the knots on either side of the beads. All right, so now I'm going to grab one of these cord ends. These are used for finishing off a leather, thicker cord, fabric cord, but you can also use it here as well. Now I'm going to pre-close this a little bit, one end, and that's where these bent nose pliers come in. Because I'm just going to take one size, and you're basically sandwiching, you're going to be sandwiching the cord in between, but I'm going to close that up a little bit just to make it a little bit easier. And so what I did here is, as you can see it there, the cording is neatly lying next to each other. So what I'll do is I'll take the first one, I'll line them up here. And I roughly did the measurements, and I'll show you how I did those here in just a moment. Just getting the cords lined up here. So when I crimp them down with the cord cover, and you'll just grab them all, and then what you can do now is kind of pull them as you need them. Put that one up a little bit. You can also measure as well if you want, but since this is for my granddaughter, I wasn't overly concerned with the measurements. And then I'll roughly kind of put them together and know where I want them. All right, and then no scientific measurements for this. Okay, and then I'm going to take and I'm going to slide the cords in to that partially closed crimp end. All lying how I want them. This is before I crimp, because you don't want to do it after. And then I'm just going to double check with the crimp. I might have to go down a little bit and get them to where I want them. All right. And you can move them around. They move pretty easily. Alrighty, and then I'm bringing back in the bent nose, and I'm going to fold this rest of this side down onto the cords. And it'll neatly kind of fold the cords so they're alongside, and then I'm just going to turn it to this side, and I'm going to come in with the bent nose and finish the sandwich of this cord in. Just give it a good squeeze so they're all securely in there. And I'll come back over to this side also and just make sure I got it nice and flat. So you should have all your cords in, okay? And then we're going to bring in the thread burner. This is where the thread burner comes in really handy. If you do a lot of work with cords like this, investing in a thread burner is not a bad option. Now, keep in mind when you're doing this, make sure your fingers are below the metal, because this metal will get hot and it'll give you a little bit of a start if you're touching it while you're doing this. So you're going to press down on the thread burner and get that nice and hot, and then it's just a matter of basically doing a simple saw motion, and it'll cut those nice and flush. It'll also keep them together, because it'll melt the nylon cord to where they'll go together, no fraying. You won't see any fraying at the top. So that's that. Now I'm going to take and I'm going to trim off the excess on these two cords here to the length I want. And then I'm going to come back with the thread burner and just give them a little bit of a touch just to keep them from fraying. Melts all the fibers together. And I'm going to grab the ear wire and the bent nose pliers, and I'm going to open up the loop, and this can be attached directly to the the cord in. And I put the folded side towards the back so it looks nicer. And then you're going to close the loop up, and that gives you your second mirrored earring. Have a little bit of a nice play, nice dangle, nice movement, which I think she's going to be very happy with these pink sparkly earrings that are lightweight, fun to make. You could also, like I said, use these as a fun activity for a party, and then they get to wear something really cute at the end of it. Who doesn't like making jewelry they can wear? So that is it for this tutorial, and like I said, this is completely dedicated to my granddaughter Bailee, who turns 7 on March 2nd. And this was her request of Nana. Aside from other things, she wanted some pink sparkly earrings. So there we have it. I also have some other tutorials in the works, and I will get more scheduled on the uploads as well, now that we're getting caught up on orders and no tornado warnings. So until the next tutorial, I'll be seeing you.